Check. Check 1, 2.
Yo, the lies told that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yeah. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Lion Villain Report, and I am your host, Russell Wayne. And yes, it is great. It is hump day right here on September the 11th, where we do remember what happened on 9/11, 2001. We will remember. I get to do this because of the sacrifices that, like, there we go. We remember 9/11, ladies and gentlemen. That is the reason why I can come on here and I can talk about football. We have to remember these things, that we actually have freedom, that we can do what we want to do here. And but this is going to be our Wednesday hump day game preview. So let's get this right here. We are broadcasting live right now into the Lions Villain Squad. Thank you to all of the followers right there. We just crossed 53,000. We are barreling towards 54,000. Maybe we can get to 54,000 before the Tampa Bay game this week. So let's get out there and get it done right there. So thank you to everybody that's following, liking, subscribing, sharing to this content right here. Joe Chapman, the boys over at the Detroit Lions News Podcast, thank you for allowing us to broadcast into your streaming service right there. And we're on YouTube, the Villain Squad YouTube, along with JC Sports and the Huddle Sports Network on Roku right now. I don't know, we might be having some difficulties getting in there. Let's try again. I'm going to remove that, and let's see if I can get you guys back in there. We're going to try again. Let's see if we can get in there. And the Huddle Sports Network, ran by Bill the Packer fan and Mike the Bear fan. Boo. No, wait a minute. No, we don't have to boo them, because we believe in faith, family, and then football, which means that I can love Bill the Packer fan as a person, and I can hate his football team, and we don't have to, have any minced words or anything like that, because we have our priorities straight. Faith, family, and then football right here. And this show is brought to you by our affiliate marketing partners at NFL Shop. Use the QR code right there, and you can go get yourself a fantastic Jahmyr Gibbs black looking all slick right there. I love those black looking jerseys right there. But thank you to everybody that uses our link and our QR code for that. So here we are right here. It is hump day. It is the game preview. The Detroit Lions are going to be at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are your thoughts on that as I go to the comments right here at the beginning? And of course, right here in the morning. Good morning to you, Henry Gray. Lion family and villains. Good morning from Fed Peterson. It's a great day to be a Lion. One pride. Dwayne King, good morning to all. Let's go, Detroit Lions. NFC North Championship title. All grit, never back down, 1-0. That's right. We got David. Good morning to David. Good morning to Paul Jones. Good morning to Charles, Chuck, Muskegon Posse in the house. Good morning to you, Dave, right there. And now we're talking about the Detroit Lions versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So what are your thoughts on that matchup? Is I'm going to pull up the stats from the last Tampa Bay game. And on the surface, you're looking at Baker Mayfield going 24 for 30 for 289 yards, 4 touchdowns in that game. And I just got done watching just the highlights of that game, so I'm not going to pretend like I knew what the ebb and flow of the game was right there. But let's just go through some of these stats right here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll pull this out of the way right here. Just kind of put it into perspective. Baker Mayfield, like I said, that he threw for 289 yards with 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He played a very clean game right there. Bucky Irving had 9 carries for 62 yards, but most of that was in the fourth quarter. Rashad White was pretty much held in check. If you have him on your fantasy team, I hope that he was on your bench. But the real story of the game is one Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans made a contested touchdown catch in that game. That was pretty amazing. I mean, the defense was all over them. And if Mike Evans does that, I mean, he might be the most consistent wide receiver in the last 10 years out of anybody. I mean, he gets 1,000 yards. I mean, you can pretty much throw it in as a lock that this guy is going to get 1,000 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns. That's just what he does. That's what he is. And Baker Mayfield, he's a gamer in the game. But what I saw at the end of that game is I saw a Washington Commander team that really gave up in the fourth quarter. I mean, defensively, they were just allowing the big gaping holes, and they weren't tackling well. They were pretty much making the first person miss every single time. So I'm not willing to crown Baker Mayfield off of the performance that he had just because he had the 4 touchdowns, because Mike Evans broke the will of that team. And Jaden Daniels was pretty impressive in that game. When you look at it for a rookie performance, 17 for 24. That tells me that he is a thrower of the ball too. I mean, well over 60% completion. Only 184 yards, but then he adds another 88 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns. I mean, this is a real run and throw quarterback threat right here. And Jaden Daniels having more of the Lamar Jackson type of deal. So he did some exciting things in there, but that defense for the Commanders and that secondary just got obliterated by Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and whoever the hell else they wanted to throw the ball to. So as far as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go, I can see why they're an underdog coming into this game, because they really couldn't run the ball on the Commanders. all that well, and they are definitely not going to run the ball against your Detroit Lions. So one of the things that I know for sure is that Main Event Mike and myself are going to be at this game. Detroit Darcy, we're going to be sitting in Darcy's seats. Darcy and I did a little bit of trading, a little bit of video editing for some seats and some experience right there. Getting into Ford Field. Are you going to the game? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. I would love to meet up with you guys and maybe drink a beer with you or sip the one that I had, depending on how expensive they are. So we're going to be at that game. Another thing that we know is that Baker Mayfield is going to be seeking some revenge in this game. No doubt about it. We knocked them out of the playoffs. That was a really good game in Ford Field last year in the divisional round. Tampa Bay is a good team. Now, we have their Carlton Davis, but they have had a pretty good defense for the last few years. They need quarterback stability. They appear to have gotten it with Baker Mayfield. So this could be a scrappy game. We need to know which offensive line is going to be showing up. Is it the offensive line from the beginning of the game that was making some, a couple errors, some false starts? Or is it the offensive line that showed up at the end of the game where it was like a locomotive and the Rams were in the way? So when we look at the Lions and the Rams, it's like, I think that the general consensus that we're overselling the Rams 20 points. The Lions defense showed out in this game. It was something that Jeff Risden, if you missed the interview yesterday, Mike did a fantastic job on interviewing Jeff Risden from Lions Wire, USA Today editor, and had some really interesting opinions on the Lions. So if you can go check that out. But the Lions win in overtime, but what a dominating end of the game. They ran like 80 plays. The Rams ran like 80 plays, and for them to come away with 20 points, that was something that Dan Campbell brought up in the press conference. So I wonder if we're overselling. I mean, the defense really carried the game right there, other than that. Now, if that offensive line that showed up in overtime shows up on Ford Field on Sunday, this Lions team could run over this Tampa Bay team. I didn't see anything that Tampa Bay did in that game that really worries me. I mean, some of the big plays that were made by Tampa Bay in that game with Washington just had to do with Washington not tackling well. I mean, some of the passes that Baker Mayfield threw for like a touchdown pass, they were really, really easy passes. I mean, I would admit that about Jared Goff too. Jameson Williams burnt to Tre'Davious White so bad that Goff just had to throw it over. He did. I think that he underthrew it more or less because he was so wide open. You don't want to have him drop the ball, right? I mean, he's got all the speed in the world, so it's the same thing. But Mike Evans had a couple touchdowns like that too, a couple big plays where he's that guy. He's going to be hard to cover, even if they're sticky. So that's the thing that they got right there that can keep them in the game. You know, Baker Mayfield has a pretty good connection with Mike Evans at this point. You know, Godwin's a great yak monster underneath. That's their little Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff have a lot in common. I mean, to be totally honest. I mean, here's two underappreciated commodities from, you know, from their previous regime. Yeah. Well, wouldn't the Browns love to have a great quarterback like Baker Mayfield at this time? That was a good one, Mike. That was a good one. Oh, gosh. Let's get in these comments and see what we got. We ended with domination against the Rams, but got incredible luck to get to OT. Do you really think it was luck? I don't think it was luck. I mean, I think it was a good game. Stafford deserves all the credit in the world, guys. Like when it comes down to it, I don't know how much I've really gotten a chance to talk about this, but the Stafford, the Lions got out to a big lead, and Stafford chipped away at it, and the defense that allowed Stafford back into the game, those are correctable things when it comes down to it. I mean, I think that the Rams really got lucky to be in the game. We did a couple of things where we could have put the game away, and you know, on a 4th and 3, you give them a free set of downs. You know, on a third down, you do pass interference. Maybe it was not the best call in the world, but still, you give them a free set of downs. We gave them extra chances on a couple of different occasions in there. So I don't know if we got lucky. I think that it's just a good game that ends the way that it did, but that domination at the end of the game. I mean, think about that. If you get into a heavyweight fight with somebody and you guys are trading punches, you start out and you're just beating his ass, and all of a sudden that dude starts fighting back, and all of a sudden you realize that you're in a fight, but then it ends how it started. You know, you pushed back a little bit, but in the end, you know, when it got out into the deep waters, right? That's what we like to talk about here. Got to take them out into deep waters. And that's what we did. We took them out into deep waters. And when it mattered, that offensive line was complete domination. Just went straight downhill, straight run. We don't, what those are high percentage. You know, the least chance of a turnover is to turn around and hand the ball off and go off tackle. We've seen that play on Madden, right? So I'm not going to agree with you on that, David. I don't think that we got lucky. I think that we willed ourselves. Like I said, are we overselling the 20 points that they had? Stafford had to work for every single drive, I mean, they had to dink and dunk down the field because our defense was getting in the backfield so fast. He had to get rid of the ball in a record amount of time, which was like 2.1 seconds or something like that. Something amazing. They had to get the ball out quick. But that's a slow offense when you do it like that, you know? I mean, they're lucky that they did have a guy like Cooper Kupp, that they were just finding ways to get him the ball, but he had to work for everything that he got. Terrion Arnold, even though he gave up, I mean, when you look at the stats, you're like, wow, he gave up all these yards, but I mean, he had to do it on 14 catches or something like that. That's all they could do was go to Cooper Kupp. Terrion Arnold was tackle. Just, you know, you don't have to get an interception on everything. You just got to make it hard. Make it hard. Gosh, you're still there. And that's what happened in that game. You know, it got to overtime. I don't even think if Stafford, they got the ball. They didn't want to go against us at an even deal. Now everything's on the line. They got bulldozed when it mattered. And I think that carries over, in my opinion, right here. If I'm doing the preview, I'm doing a preview. I watched the Tampa Bay game. And they had done well. But there was poor tackling in that game. I'm not going to give like when the Lions played their game, that was a good game. Those linebackers, we thought that Ernest Jones, that the departure of Ernest Jones was going to be this big thing. Oh yeah, they're missing all these different people, but the guys that stepped in played out of their minds. Those linebackers, they had great linebacker play. The guys that they had on the next up, they wouldn't. And then I started thinking about it, and it's like the Rams have ran a pretty good shop, obviously, when you think of franchises over the last 10 years. And you think they would have traded Ernest Jones, even though he's a great player, but do you think they would have traded Ernest Jones if they didn't have somebody, sitting in the cupboard, ready to go, that's been in the system? And that's exactly what happened. Next man up, and those guys stepped up and didn't miss a beat. So, I mean, I give credit to the Rams in that. But when I watched the Tampa Bay versus the Commanders game, they took advantage of poor defense. So, you got to give them credit for that. But if the Lions tackle as bad as the Commanders tackled in week 1, then yeah, I absolutely think that the Tampa Bay can be in this game. But if the Lions play defense like they did last week, and Stafford running that offense, getting rid of the ball that fast, I don't know if Baker Mayfield can do that. Baker Mayfield normally isn't a quick release kind of guy. They try to get that stuff running off of play action all the time, but that ain't going to work with us. That ain't going to work with us. The DJ Reader impact cannot be undersold. DJ Reader is a dude. That is a dude right there. The Lions are about to get extremely deep on the defensive line. And if you guys were on here yesterday, after the interview with Jeff Risdon, I went through some of the PFF stats with the Lions, and all of the guys that they brought in to be better on the defensive line were better. Levi Onwuzurike. That's what they told us all off season. You got to wait and see it on the field. Okay, there it is. Right off the bat, just like we thought. Davenport comes in, makes an impact. He gets a half a sack. Levi gets a half a sack. Aiden gets a very, very important sack to end the game in regulation. So this is when it comes with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their style does not match up against our style like this. And the DJ Reader impact is huge. It's huge. Like, he commands the double team, and he's going to push the pocket. He's not going to give you any pocket to, move up into. Sometimes when you get pressure, you can step up into the pocket. That ain't going to happen when DJ Reader's out there. That's just what he is. He's not going to go get 10 sacks or anything like that. That's not what DJ Reader does. DJ Reader does not do that. What DJ Reader does is he is a people eater. He commands two people to keep him from blowing up your run play. You have to. You have to put two people on him, or he will get a pass rush. He'll collapse the middle of that pocket. So you got to command two people to him. They usually, so that's going to leave a lot of one-on-ones. You know, Aleem McNeil is more of a pass rushing defensive tackle. With DJ Reader, that's going to help Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport. The DJ Reader impact is huge. I think I would even get, I think I could even get like the Viking fan, you know, like Jason MC and Broski Bear to agree with that. So I think Tampa Bay is going to run into a buzzsaw here because Stafford woke up the team, you know, and I wouldn't even say it was Stafford. I'd say they contained Stafford. You run 80 plays and only get 20 points. That's your defense playing pretty good, especially against an offense like that one. You know, we thought we were going to lose all these offensive linemen. They only ended up having one offensive lineman down, you know, and it was just a good fight. It was a good fight in there. But when it comes with this second week, you know, maybe there was some rust with that offensive line, but that rust got shaken off in that fourth quarter. You know, I mean, it was just what the doctor ordered. You know, you're coming out of the gates, and you know, a lot of teams, it's like you got to knock off that rust. It's better to knock off the rust while getting a win than to, you know, take the L. Let's see. I got to get in here. Baker, let's get in here with Hey Peoples. Good morning. Okay, I think I'm in here in the right spot. So I don't have to see you guys. Don't have to see me reading. I'll get these up here for the comments. We got Henry Gray in the house. Baker's playing against a much better secondary this time around. Hey, Henry, Detroit fan man, Dwayne and Fred and everyone else. We ended with domination in the rain. Okay, I went back too far. Okay, I'm sorry. There will not be a missed wide open Evans in this game like there was last season. Our DBs are better this time around. I have to agree with that, especially after the first week. Our defense looked really good last week. Okay. Maybe we have smarter fans on here, but like I always look through and if you guys have a chance, go over to the Facebook page and give us a follow over there. Hit over 53,000. But we got some great posts out there that have some good conversations in there. So hop in the comments and, you know, join the conversation as we do it right there. So Paul Jones, 7 red zone trips and only a TD to show for it. Yep, that's what it is. I mean, the bend don't break. Is it just me, or does it seem like Ben Johnson is holding back plays? Let's talk about that. You think that he's holding back plays? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that Ben Johnson, like in the interview that we had yesterday with Jeff Risen, he touched on this. He alluded to this. But it seems like Ben Johnson sometimes tries to outsmart. He always wants to be the smarter thing. And, you know, and if he plays my John Madden football style, I think that we might be a lot better off. And that's just, I'm going to do this thing to you, you know, and if that's running off tackle and it's working, I'm going to do that shit. I'm going to keep doing that shit until you stop me from doing that. And I wish that he had some more of that. Maybe he'll get some more of that in him. But if off tackle is working with David Montgomery, let him eat. Just keep running the ball. Like, stop me. Stop me first. And then when they put the assets in there to stop that, then hit them with the other play, because you know they're getting mad about getting ran over. They'll stick that guy in the box, and then you get the one-on-one with JMO. Just like play their things against them. You don't always have to be playing the chess. You know, it's like a UFC fight. Once you catch that guy and you see him stumble, go in there and, you know, finish the job. You know, don't be afraid to go out there and step out there and beat some ass. You know, we don't have to let these guys and be in a chess match with these guys all the time. If we can get out and ahead of these guys, you just choke them out. So now I don't think he's holding back plays. I think that he just needs to realize who's on his team every once in a while. Let those offensive linemen eat. You saw what would happen if you just run the ball 7 out of 8 times. So Gibbs can run between the tackles, but Monty was born to. But the thing was, what they did was they split those carries up. So when you got into the fourth quarter and then to that overtime, that defensive line was wore out, guys. They wore out. Our offensive line wore out that defensive line, and the last thing they wanted to see in overtime was Penei Sewell and Frank Ragnow and Zeitler running downhill on these guys. They were just done. They were done. They were just done. Think about how that Lions D-line couldn't take advantage of a Rams patchwork offense. They were missing one guy, dude. And they did take advantage of it. Were you even watching the game, broski? They absolutely did take advantage of it. Stafford had to break the NFL record for quick releases. At some point in time, you got to give credit to the quarterback and the game planning, because the game planning took the defensive line out of the game, which was they didn't have to block. They had pressures all over the place. They had QB hits. They affected the play. What are you talking about? They absolutely took advantage of that patchwork O-line, which was only missing one guy. Wow. I love how you minimize, man. I'm not going to minimize your loss or your win. Wow. Imagine drafting a quarterback number 1 overall and having to be saved by your defense. Imagine that. Imagine having all this hope for a quarterback that maybe he'll be benched by week 5. Wow. Okay. I mean, I could play the trolls too, but I didn't want to do that. I want to give your team respect for that, for when Will Levis makes maybe the most horrible decision in the history of decisions, that you take advantage of it. You know, if your defense is scoring touchdowns, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Yeah, take advantage of every opportunity that you can get. Brent says, no, they're just like the Bears, bro. You see, this is where the you know, it's weak trolling. Dave, you look very average out there. They are very okay. Are we minimizing here? Is that what you're doing? Are you minimizing our win, broski? Did you come on to the Lions show to minimize the Lions win? Wow, gosh, I actually thought that you would come and like be happy that your team won, like more. Or, you know, and congratulate the teams that won. You know, like the Minnesota Vikings that we were all making fun of. They beat the crap out of them. What the New York Giants, Danielson. Hey Joseph, I think Broski hops around to different podcasts to spew the negativity. Okay. Broski says, maybe you're a product of Detroit and Flint public schools. You don't know what very average means, LOL. Okay. Mark says, St. Brown was double teamed a lot against the Rams. The other teams will follow suit this year. Okay, good. Yes, please. Please double team. Hey, the thing is we don't have a selfish team, guys. You guys, it's funny that when the Lions win a game and you look at this like a troll. This can't be a troll. This can't be a troll. You can't be serious on that, right? Do you know what them double teaming St. Brown and Laporta did? It did what we thought it was going to do. It created one-on-one matchups with Jamison Williams, who he ate. Jamison Williams. Yep, there you go. Stop playing with the kid. Don't play with the kid no more. Jamison Williams has arrived now. That's what you're going to do. Double team the middle. You know, Amon-Ra made all of his money in the middle. And the Rams used all of their resources to make sure they took away the middle of the field. And all that stuff that Lions. And really, if the Lions didn't have Jamison Williams, then that would have been a successful plan. St. Brown was double teamed a lot against the Rams. Other teams will follow suit. Yes, please allow that to happen. Because there isn't a DB that's going to cover Jamison Williams one-on-one on that outside. It is what it is, man. That's the pick your poison. There you go. Here's where it is. It's a Brad Holmes guy. This is the villain. This is what the villain means right here. What the villain is when you use your assets to stop one part of our offense. The villain is the guy that's got the one-on-one matchup. So during the game, that was Jamison Williams played the role of the villain. So let's get into it. This is the week one villains. The week one villains right here. These are the guys that changed games. And Jamison Williams, 5 receptions, 121 yards. He gets a TD. And then the roles got switched in overtime. Because when you got to use your safety assets to make sure that Jamison Williams doesn't torch you over the top, what do? You give David Montgomery the ball, and he pounds your defense. You get our offensive linemen, the Lions' best players, you get them running downhill. When the Lions are playing Lions football, that's what makes it unstoppable. I mean, and the Lions didn't even have their best game in the world. Lions win was solid, saved their butts. Hey, what was that? You were at the same time talking about the D-line not taking advantage of the Rams patchwork. It's a legit observation. Well, for one, I am not going to promote. I'm not going to be in there, and I wasn't in there. I'm not gonna promote that podcast. Broski sticks to the facts, even though he's being rude about it. We can do the same thing. Hey, I don't think he's being rude about it. He's pointing out something. It's like, what do you mean by take advantage of a patchwork offensive line? I mean, I'm not seeing that. I'm bringing up my PFF right here on my defense, just on snaps right there. I look at three. I see here's what the Lions did against the patchwork offensive line. 3 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 15 hurries, and 6 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. So, Broski, you're sticking to the facts. Russ, I love it when you get emotional. I just stick to facts. I'm sticking to facts right there. You're trying to sell You're trying to oversell what the Rams did, scoring 20 points. Did the Lions not take advantage? The Lions didn't take advantage of their patchwork offensive line. And you're telling me that you're using facts, and I'm going to bring up the facts. Here's the facts. Right there. And this has nothing to do with PFF grades right here. Sacks. There's the sacks. 3 sacks. Nine quarterback hits. 4 by Hutchinson, 2 by Davenport, 2 by Levi Onwuzurike, 1 by a guy from our practice squad. Got a sack by Hutchinson, sack by Marcus Davenport, sack by Levi Onwuzurike. 6 hurries by Hutchinson. 3 hurries by Marcus Davenport. 2 hurries by Levi Onwuzurike. I mean, you want to hit me with facts? That's facts. Right there is that the Lions took advantage of a shoddy offensive line. They scored 20 points. Yeah, I mean, you act like they scored 40 points on us. Oh, exactly. The Lions have too many weapons. I will prepare a costume, the most diverse meal of crow for Jeff. He's on, if he is right about the Vikings defense. Oh, you didn't like that. Yeah, I'm very happy they shut down Saint and Laporta. It proved that to everyone that JMO can be that guy. Yep, it finally gave JMO the opportunity to get his looks, and the opportunity showed out. YouTube chat allows people to be rude and offensive if sitting in front of someone will temper your words. Oh, okay. Are we doing tough guy talk now? Come on, guys. Lighten up the chat. We're just talking. We're just talking. There's a little bit of trash talking that can come along in here. You know, but the thing is like what we like to do in the rules in this show, broski, is we like to celebrate the teams that win, and we like to try to be positive moving forward, because you should get to celebrate for 7 days. I mean, if you want to come in and poo-poo on a Lions party, that's fine. That's fine. That's a character thing on that, because I celebrate the wins. You know, if you want to trash, we want to talk some major trash. Let's talk some trash about these Green Bay Packers. Because with or without that injury, that team didn't look that good. And I know that they want to go all excuses. They want to talk about the field. But, you know, both teams had to play on the field. And, you know, they had lots of penalties in that game. And they lost. You know, 0-1. That's one team that doesn't get to come in here and talk trash. You got to take your medicine on our show. I take my medicine when we lose. I do. But I'm definitely not going to take medicine on my show on a week where we win. We don't have to do that. We don't have to overanalyze like other shows do. We don't want to overanalyze. I mean, there's a reason that they won the game. When you look back through the game and you watch the ebb and flow of the game, you know, the offense came out slow. The offensive line, the strength of the Lions team in that Rams game came out slow. They made some mistakes. You know, I think the mistakes that they made were very correctable. You know, got some false starts, some timing things. You know, Zeitler is there for the first time. They got to work through things too. Joseph, you come with insult and personal attacks. Lazy troll. Yeah. Personal attacks. You lose when you go in personal attacks. CW is going to go down in history to be the first rookie quarterback gifted a game since 2000 with a below mediocre game. Yeah, Jaden Daniels was a better quarterback than Caleb Williams for sure. No doubt. Broski, our D-line, is only going to get better. Fred Peterson, how many games is Keenan Allen out the season? Keenan is injury prone, but let's talk about the Lions getting injury prone players. See, this is where I don't like the trash talking because, you know, Broski brings up a couple things and all of us go after him and you know, talk about this and talk about that. And what I really want to talk about is what the Lions are going to be doing this week with the game preview with Baker Mayfield. You know, with Baker Mayfield, you know, having a good game going in there, you know, going for 289 yards for touchdown, 24 for 30. He only had 6 incompletions, you know, and the Lions are going to have to get in there. But to Broski's point of them, not taking advantage of an offensive line, I think that had more to do with Stafford getting rid of the ball fast. I mean, I think that Stafford played an excellent game. I mean, he played an incredibly clean game. And, you know, towards the end of that game, it was only Cooper Kupp. They were just trying to find creative ways to keep getting the ball in the Kupp's hands. And Terrion Arnold made it hard on him for the whole game. When I look at the defenses, I mean, it looks like a good game through. Most of the guys, they have a couple of guys that graded really, really low, like in the 30s and 40s, but the Lions didn't. All the Lions guys, even the lowest guy was like a 54. That's not great, but that's not the worst of your team. You know, if the worst of your team is a 54, I'm used to seeing 30s and 20s on every team, including the Bears. So, you know, you're looking at Tyler Davis and, you know, Bobby Brown, defensive tackle, Tre'Davious White, you know, all those guys, they didn't have good games. You know, the worst game that anybody had from the Lions, I should even say that took meaningful snaps. Really, most of them were in the 60s. So I thought that the Lions defense actually carried the team when it comes with it. But that's all right. Because I got the Macho Man Randy Savage right here talking about the Lions Villain Report. The cream rises to the top, brother. Yeah, and the Detroit Lions are the cream that rises to the top. No matter what, drag them out to deep waters and then climb to the top rope and drop the Macho Man elbow right into the heart of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, oh yeah, dig it. Oh, man, it's been a minute since we had been able to hear from the Macho Man right there. Thank you, Macho Man. Thank you. I appreciate that. What I'd like to have right now is for all of you fat, out of shape, cheese-eating Milwaukee pissants. Keep the noise down while I take my robe off and show all of the Green Bay Packer ladies what a real sexy man looks like. Hit the music. Man, we even had Ravishing Rick Rude in here today. It's a star-studded cast. here on the Lion Villain Report. Had to lighten up the mood just a little bit. Oh, I saw Sarah. There's Sarah. 49ers will be a tough game, and I got faith that we can pull off the upset. Mark says NFC North isn't looking as tough as they thought it would be this year. Caleb has a long way to go before he's ready to play with the big boys. We have more talent, and we wore them out, hit them with 100 body blows, and then knocked them out in the 12th round. That's a great, I love that. That's a great one. That's a great comment. That's a great way to describe it. You know, every once in a while you get in a fight, you get in one of those headlock fights, right? Where somebody's just that never give up and just keep grinding on you. And Sarah says, I don't care if it was just the Giants. We beat their ass like we were supposed to. If we lost, it would have been embarrassing. Yeah, you're damn right. You're damn right. Vikings get to stand on top of that mountain, you know, for a week. Beat your chest. Sing it loud. Sing it proud. Vikings got to win. There's 3 teams from the NFC North that got to win. And if you would have told me that one of those teams wasn't the Packers at the beginning of the season, I might have laughed at you. But no, it was the Packers that was the only team in the North that didn't get a win. So the black and blue division might be here. And Jordan Love's going to come back. And I know that he can be pretty good. So I'm not gonna give them too hard of a time, but I'm definitely not gonna crown Jordan Love off of what I saw in that first game. I mean, he got injured, but he got injured in the last 2 plays of the game. He played the whole game, and he was okay. You know, Jaden Reed is a real deal. I'll tell you what, that dude's a threat to score from anywhere he gets the ball. Jaden Reed looks like the real deal. He's following it up. But not Jordan Love. Not Caleb Williams. And what I tell you, Sarah, that's Sam Darnold. Here's to Sam Darnold. It's amazing what you can do with a couple weapons, right? Like, I may not be sold on the Vikings defense, like kind of like what Risden was saying yesterday, but that offense is the real deal. That offense is the real deal. I mean, if you could put up points with Nick Mullins and Dobbs, I mean, at least Sam Darnold's an NFL quarterback. Yeah. I love you, Joseph. Thank you. Oh, gosh, I get the injury prone. There's a good chance that Swift's missed a couple games, but the Bears have 3 nice running backs. I'm not concerned. Yeah, I got Roshan Johnson stashed on my bench, broski. For that reason, I knew that Swift wasn't going to last very long in there. Good point, Steve. Fred, I'm not making fun of Davenport. I'm just giving you a timeline. Yeah, Davenport, cross our fingers. I mean, if he gives us, what's the over? We set the over and under, Sarah. We set it on at 10 for Davenport. If he gives us 10 games, we're going to feel like we got a good deal out of it. If it's less than 10 games, then it becomes Davenport, right? But he looked pretty good in that game. Davenport with a sack and a couple hurries. What did he get? Hurries. Yeah, he had 3 hurries, 2 quarterback hits. So yeah, he had a good game, but it was, it's a different deal here. Like I said, when I'm doing the review here, the preview, it's DJ Reader is going to help out Davenport a lot, don't you think? And Hutchinson. I mean, those are the types of things. I mean, that's pretty big chance that they took him out like that, but they didn't have to use him in week 1. And maybe it was because they didn't have all of their offensive linemen. They probably felt like they could give Reader another week to, rehab that leg. Let's see. Broski Mosley might come back. We're still, man, everybody's just, it's like the Broski show. That's what Broski likes to do. He likes to come in and get everybody arguing with him on there. But I've given them some props. That's where we'll leave it right there. But villain of the week, I don't know. Put your votes in. Jameson Williams or David Montgomery. I put Kirby Joseph in there because the timing of his interception was really, really good. But when you talk about the guy that dashed the hopes and dreams of the Rams, like, to me, it's the villain of the week. It's either got to be David Montgomery or Jameson Williams. I mean, kudos to McVay for putting together, or their defensive coordinator putting together a defense that took away the middle of the field. They were doubling Laporta, and they were doubling Amon-Ra St. Brown the whole time. But the villain is the one that takes advantage of it. When you zig, the villain zags. When you push, the villain pulls. So that's either Jameson Williams or it's David Montgomery in that fourth quarter. Because that was the last thing that any team wants to see in the fourth quarter. And that's something that not even Broski can say. He knows about David Montgomery. He was beloved in Chicago. David Montgomery, when he left, it wasn't because David Montgomery couldn't play. It was because they wanted to go into a different direction. They thought they had something in Khalil Herbert. And then they draft the running back. But they didn't get rid of David Montgomery because he wasn't good. A pounding back that can break tackles. 225 pounds. Running downhill with that offensive line. That could be the villain. What do you think? We got Mark in here, says David Montgomery came through in the clutch. Williams did what we expected to do, but I'm picking Montgomery. I think that this is kind of a landslide. Because I like what Jameson Williams did. I definitely feel that he had that breakout. And he was what he needed to be. Right? We speculate. When it comes to how we speculate in the offseason, one of the questions, what are the Lions going to do with, who's going to be the guy behind Amon-Ra St. Brown? We'd like Khalif Raymond, but Khalif Raymond isn't the guy for that, Somebody had to step up. The Lions bet that guy was going to be Jameson Williams, that he was ready to take the step. And that's a good feeling, right? When you know that you're developing players and you can kind of predict when they're going to take their step outs. And it looks to me like JMO just needed some maturity and a little bit of off-season work. He had to get on the same page with Goff. get him put into the offense. Because when I looked at his target share from last year, I mean, Jameson Williams was only had 6 targets in like 2 games, I think, last year. And in this last game, he had 8 targets. So he had more targets in one game than he ever has in that first game. So when you got a guy that's talented that can run like Jameson runs, then the more targets, the better. You got to try to get the ball into his hand. He's a threat to score anytime he touches the football. And that's a great thing to have. And that's a great compliment to these yak monsters in the middle of the field. Because when you pull those safeties back, because you have to make sure that you're taking Jameson's speed into consideration, you got the 2 high safeties. That's a favorable running position. And if you bring those safeties down to the box so you can cover these, Amon-Ra St. Browns and the Laporta's in the middle, it leaves the outside open. If you don't have a safety up top, you've seen what can happen. It's pick your poison. That's what the definition of a villain is. So I'm looking through here. It looks like it's a landslide through all of the comments on all the different platforms. I get to see all of the comments from all of the platforms here. But David Montgomery ends up becoming the winner. I don't have a David on here. Where'd my David Montgomery go? Oh, well, I'll put that up. The winner, David Montgomery of the Villain of the Week via chat. Now, there is a poll that's going to come out on the Lionsville Villain Squad Facebook page that also has the villain. You can put your own villain in that comment too. If I mentioned somebody that I should have mentioned, I mean, did I miss somebody? Those were the 3 major players in like game-changing events in there. So who gets that? Well, this episode is brought to you by the sweet Jahmyr Gibbs black jersey right there. You can use that QR code, use our link. That would be awesome if you would do that. And we appreciate those that support the show, our affiliate marketing partners, NFL Shop, throwing the link into the comments right now. Thank you for supporting the show. Join the conversation. I mean, as much as I love hearing myself talk, I love it when you guys have a conversation in there, even if it's just Broski trolling, bringing up his valid points. I thought that I did a good job combating his valid points. The point was, why didn't we do better against a defensive, their trash offensive line? And 2 counterpoints to that was they were only missing one of their offensive linemen by the time it started. Jonah Jackson actually got to play guard. And they had 15 hurries, 3 sacks, 9 quarterback hits. That's a dominating performance by the defensive line. That may be the best defensive line performance that the Lions have had under Aaron Glenn, period. As a complete body of work. And I'm not just homering here. You may have heard a different counterpoint on a different show today, Broski, but I just disagree with that. And I don't think it's homer. I'm backing it up with stats. So I love that point, though. I mean, you want to see them get pressure. You want to be able to see them affect plays. And the defensive line did exactly that, broski. They forced Matt Stafford to run an offense that he got rid of the ball in less than 3 seconds. He didn't escape the pocket. He didn't run. He didn't affect anything. He had to get rid of the ball quickly. They ran 80 plays. And really, if there's a criticism, it's like the offense has got to play better. You know, it was the offense that I would, if I'm going to put any concern on the Lions, it would be the offense. But I'm not going to put concern on the offense because I have confidence that the offense can score when it needs to score. I also have confidence that the offense is going to blow some teams out this year and put up crazy points. This is a league that goes from week to week. You show some certain things. And anybody thinks that they can just double team Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta and stop this offense. Well, that was proven that you can't do that. And I don't know if average football fan understands how important it was for J-Mo to be big in that moment. Because what happened is the Rams effed around and they found out. So to the answer of the question, does the NFL now have a secret recipe for stopping Amon-Ra St. Brown? And the answer is yes, they do. But if they do that, they're going to deal with Jameson Williams. So you can stop any player. You can bracket any player. You can come up with game plans. You can say, look, this guy is not going to beat us. And that's where they always say, hey, you got to have another guy that's going to step up and make plays. You're right. And that guy's Jameson Williams. That makes the offense dangerous. That's what is the final element that makes the Lions offense dangerous. Because you can't, this is the NFL. This is the NFL. So they will stop you. Your best players will be stopped. It's like, what is your counterpoint to that? And the Lions have a counterpoint. His name's Jameson Williams. But David Montgomery wins the 9/11. We salute you. Heroes that went into that falling building and saving lives, and the ones that didn't make it out. I mean, I get to have a show where I talk about football and a bunch of other stuff that may not mean anything, but I get to do that because of the sacrifices of other people. And I recognize that. And that's what we're supposed to remember today, is that freedom ain't free. Some people had to pay for it. Faith, family, and football. It's the most important thing, guys. I love you, broski. I love that you pull some emotion out of me so early in the morning. But I think that what we do is when we get on the same page, we understand how we communicate. And honestly, you know, I think that the Lions should celebrate that they won a game, right? All week long. Just like I also believe that the Bears should celebrate like they won a game, because they did. And the Skull Nation, they should definitely celebrate because they got to win. It's hard to win in the NFL. Celebrate all 7 days, because you might not win on Sunday. That goes for Lion fan too. We might not win on Sunday. I think we will. I believe we will. I'm going to be at that game. But it's faith, family, and then football. And then when we keep that into perspective, then I love you, broski. I love you, Sarah, Jason MC, Bill the Packer fan. I love you as people. I just hate your football team. And we have a little bit of fun on here. But just remember, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again for the Villain Report tomorrow. Peace out.
Hey yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning, it's crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. This your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. This your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.